Do y'all think that the better team won, or was this just a bad game?
They got a cloud hanging over their head.
You execute when you're supposed to execute, and we didn't do that. They were the better team in that game.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Pigskins and Pageantry. The number of high-quality matchups on the schedule on Saturday wasn't huge, but the matchups didn't disappoint. We'll talk about those, hand out our helmet stickers, give our opinion about which coach on the hot seat right now might be the first to get fired, and turn our attention to next week as the SEC matchups really start to rev up. So, Matt, it's great to have you back in the saddle, my friend. How you doing?
I apologize for not being here last week. My back decided it wanted to not do anything except lay in the bed for 4 days. So yeah, one of the drawbacks of aging is your body says you can't do this stuff no more, and mine did that last Saturday. So, but I'm a lot better now. I'm doing a lot better. I got to watch some football on Saturday. So it wasn't all bad, but it was pretty rough.
I've always heard the old adage, getting old sucks, but it beats the alternative. So.
I'll believe it.
Jesse, how's it going?
I'm good. I didn't have to have any Bama anxiety this weekend. It's nice to have a bye week. Bye weeks are lovely. They're a really good time.
Especially after the week that I had last week and that stress.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's talk about some of those matchups from this past weekend.
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
All right, the first matchup let's talk about is Arkansas at Memphis. Memphis winning this one 32-31 in just a wild game. Nobody got the point here. I mean, Arkansas was off to a good start in this one, had a good, decent lead, and then all of a sudden Memphis just had like two crazy touchdowns that ended up putting them in the lead. But even so, Arkansas had a chance to win at the end. So unfortunately, the consistent theme with Arkansas has been their inability to protect the football. And this week continued that. And for the second week in a row, Arkansas has been in the middle of a drive to potentially win the game, but instead fumbles it away to end their chances. So it's just unfortunate. Matt, what were your thoughts on this one?
I got to watch the tail end of this one, and I was like, I was happy because Memphis roared back in that third and fourth quarter, almost caught up with them, and then it looked like for a minute there Arkansas was going to find a way to win this thing, and then that fumble, and then they just turn around and scored, and you're just like, what just happened? It really is unfortunate. Brendan Lewis from Memphis looked really good in this game. Made a lot of big plays when they needed to. Arkansas just isn't. There's a historical trend of really bad fumbles for Arkansas. I think back to the '98 Tennessee Arkansas game when they fumbled it and when they had a chance to win. It was kind of like what just happened here. Just really unfortunate for Sam Pittman and the Hogs. So gonna have to look to bounce back, but not a great way to end your Saturday if you're an Arkansas fan.
No, Jesse, your thoughts?
I mean, they're consistent, but it's not the kind of consistency that you want, unfortunately.
No.
And Coach Pittman said it in his post-game interview with this being the second week in a row, they have to start looking internally. What are they as a coaching staff not doing? What are they not practicing? How can they as a coaching staff be better? But I think too, this is also on the defense. It's not just on the fact that they were fumbling the ball 2 weeks in a row, but it was the fact that, you look at, they had a linebacker. I can't remember if it's Sorry or Sorry. It's the name. It might be Sorry, but
we know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he missed a tackle that allowed for 64-yard touchdown out of the backfield. Ooh.
Yeah.
They also had to drop back 8 into coverage after that, and then you have a dual threat quarterback that's running on you. So their defense, to me, has a lot of tackling issues that they also need to address. You've got issues on both sides of the ball, unfortunately, and that doesn't bode well for our dear friend, the barbecue king, Sam Pittman.
Yeah, did Memphis students storm the field after that? I saw them preparing to storm the field. I'm not sure if they did or not.
I don't think they did. I don't recall seeing anybody on the field.
Okay,
I'm
well,
sure they're the people in charge are like, no,
There were some who tried to storm the field before the game was over, and they got them off the field. So I wasn't sure if they would actually do it afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's Arkansas. Come on. So, um,
That's still a big win for Memphis. I mean, I
yeah,
saw a stat after that game was over. It said, I think Memphis has like a 30% chance at this point of potentially making the playoff if they keep winning,
right.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I know we're not they aren't aligned with the SEC, but I mean Memphis is making some waves.
Yeah.
They
It'll
have
be,
won, I believe it was 32 out of their last 33
Hmm.
non-conference
Yeah, they're
games.
mhm.
finding a way to win games. Yeah.
They may end up in the top 25
Yeah.
very soon, if
Yeah,
not
you
now.
never know. And if they catch the committee's eye, you never know what might happen. So, let's move to Auburn at Oklahoma. Oklahoma winning this one 24 to 17. I got the point here. Just a few takeaways for me for this game. Just lots of special teams miscues for Auburn in this one. Oklahoma scored a touchdown that probably should have been flagged for
Hmm.
deception, which I didn't even know was a thing until this
Yeah.
game. Where the wide receiver was kind of hobbling, acting like he was going to go off the field. Then all of a sudden, oh, I'm fine. Snap the ball, run my route, wide open for the touchdown. Now, Oklahoma on the other side of the ball set a school record for sacks with 10, which is just unreal,
That's a lot.
including the safety that iced the game for this one. So, but oddly enough, OU's defense still hasn't forced a turnover yet this season, yet they remain unbeaten. So, Jesse, what were your takeaways from Auburn at Oklahoma?
I mean, I thought for both teams, both Auburn and for Oklahoma, that their defenses were the main stars here. I mean, certainly you have stars on offense, but if you look at it, it's a relatively low scoring game. It's reminiscent of our early 2000s kind of games, but Auburn and Oklahoma combined for 5 total third down conversions entering the final quarter, of the game, which is kind of cool. Oklahoma led the game with 10 total sacks. Auburn had 5 quarterback hurries. So I think there's a lot for both fan bases to kind of look at and say, all right, we're moving forward defensively. That's a big deal. I have seen online, I mean, it's only Sunday when we're recording, but they've already started the Heisman talk.
Oh
They've
Lord.
already started it.
Rat
Oklahoma,
poison.
just be careful. Don't drink that Kool-Aid too early. But they have started the Heisman talk. So I don't I don't know. It's too early to tell. It's an award that we both or all three of us know is it doesn't mean anything, but it's already started.
Yeah, after the Georgia-Tennessee game, apparently Gunnar Stockton went up to third in the odds for the Heisman, and I'm like, well, let's pump the brakes. So let's get a little bit into the season before we start that kind of talk. But I don't know. For this one, what were your
Who
thoughts,
is
Matt?
who
Huh?
are the first two in line?
I forget. All I know is that I saw his name pop up at third, and I was like, wait a minute. Like
Yeah,
we're
let's
just getting started here, so
yeah.
let's figure stuff out
Um
first.
I really enjoyed watching this game. I did sleep through most of the second quarter, but that's a side point. I enjoyed the majority of this. I woke up just in time to catch the third and fourth quarter. I thought that Auburn was going to find a way to win this ball game there at the tail end, or at least tie it up and send it to overtime. They just imploded on that last drive. I mean, I think you had a block at the back on the kick return at the very beginning, and then 2 plays later, there's a false start, and then there was an offensive holding or something. Like they just shot
Right,
themselves in the foot,
back
backed
themselves up.
all the way up into the end zone, and then you give up that safety to kind of wrap everything up. It was just really unfortunate because it feels like this year we had kind of turned the corner with Auburn. You feel like Freeze has kind of got his guys, and you finally got something going, and then you run into a big old block like Oklahoma, and Oklahoma just kind of takes you to task at the fourth quarter. Um, I think Mateer looks good. My question, and this is something I wanted to throw at you guys too, looking at this game and looking at the stats for this, the leading rusher in this is Mateer with 29 yards.
Right.
Torrey Blaylock has 13 yards on 11 carries. Like, where's the run game? Like, and I was kind of looking back at their stats overall for the season. And if you look at their rushing stats, they're nothing impressive. Mateer has 192 yards on the season. Blaylock has 179 yards on the season. There's no run game in Oklahoma. And that can present a problem because what's going to happen when you start seeing these defenses, start figuring out, well, we'll just play the pass and they don't got a run game to complement it, that could lead to a lot of trouble.
Right. Yeah, I think it goes back to Jesse's point earlier, at least in this game, how both defenses really just sort of dominated the narrative for it. I mean, kudos to Auburn. I thought they played great defense too. Actually, if you look at both quarterbacks, their stat lines are not that different in terms of yards, completions, attempts, and touchdowns. It's almost identical.
I
So,
think we're also seeing the lack of run game just across the SEC right now. I mean, I'm trying to think of a team that I'm like, wow, here's that one running back. I mean, yeah, you guys, but
I was about
like
to say, we got a couple guys.
Alabama, we have not shown a strong run game this season. Wes,
I guess
you feel the same way about
Georgia's
Georgia.
trying to get better. I think they're better. If you'd asked me last year, I would have said absolutely not. But I think they're improving, but we'll see as we get into the tougher games this year. And I would include Tennessee
I'm
in
always
that.
on penalty watch, so I do want to call out penalty watch here. Auburn, 13 penalties. OU 9 and third down conversions, gentlemen. It goes back to defenses, like we're saying, but Auburn was 3 for 15 on third down, and the Sooners were 3 for 12.
Yeah. Yeah, a very defensively dominated game for sure. But I think both these teams have good defenses, so we'll see how they continue moving forward and how Auburn will attempt to bounce back. Oklahoma's still undefeated, so we'll see what happens with them. Next is South Carolina at Missouri. Missouri winning this one 29-20. Jesse got the point here. And it seems to me like if you're looking for a main difference in this game and what sets things apart, it's Missouri controlling the line of scrimmage. And the evidence is seen in the run game. We talked about run games before. Same in this one. Missouri rushed for 287 yards total on the ground, while South Carolina rushed for -9 yards. Now, granted, a lot of that is sack yardage, but even if you took away the sack yardage, still ain't super impressive. So South Carolina again, that gets pushed around. They got pushed around by Vandy last week, and now they're getting pushed around this week again by Mizzou. Matt, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this I was expecting this to be. I mean, granted, 9 points. A 9 point loss isn't awful, but it just
No.
felt like Missouri had their hands on their throat the whole time. I was hoping, and again, I don't have anything good to say about either one of these coaches, but we thought that Carolina was going to be kind of a dark horse, kind of beneath this, behind the scenes, kind of making some moves. And after getting manhandled by Vanderbilt last week, and after losing this game to Missouri, jury's out on Carolina. I don't think they're going to be able to hack it. We're going to have to wait and see how things pan out. But I think that leaning on Lenora Sellers and that makes that offense a little bit one-dimensional, and you're not going to be able to get a whole lot done if you shut down Sellers. You got nobody else you can really go to, especially when you're your second leading running back, or your second. Sorry, talking's hard. Your running back core is just really not getting a lot going. So it's going to be tough sledding for Carolina, and I can already see the Missouri fans are super excited, thinking this is going to be another good year for them. But that jury's still out too. We need to wait and see who they're going to end up playing.
Right.
Because they got some big games coming down. They got A&M, Vanderbilt, and Bama, and Oklahoma. So they're going to have to step it up.
Jesse?
Yeah, I think for South Carolina, like Matt said, if you're just relying on Sellers, and he was rusty, he's coming off of being out after a concussion, and he certainly gave them a better chance than they would have without him, but he was a little rusty. And the issue with South Carolina, and I think it's an issue that we've seen where they're feast or famine, right? They win the ones that you think they have no business winning because they're explosive, and then they just pull back, and you're like, how is this the same team? It's almost the same way with their offense in general, where it's like you've got this explosive plays sometimes, but if they're not on one big explosive play, they kind of fall apart and don't deal with pressure well. You're not going to win the SEC. the church league, the whatever, if you are not playing consistently, and if you can't just like ground and pound and chunk after chunk after chunk, if you're waiting on a lob down the field or your quarterback to run it down the field, you will become one dimensional and you will get shut down. And I think we saw that here. Now, of course, it was closer than we thought it was, and Mizzou had their strengths, but they also certainly had some of their own weaknesses. So for me, I think the important point for South Carolina is they have got to become a more diverse offense, and they have got to become consistent and not just rely on explosive plays. We saw that, and I hate to bring up Bama again, but obviously that's what I watched the most is Bama tried to do that. It was like last year we were so good with explosive plays, but if we didn't have those, we fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
So Carolina, honey, y'all got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely had high hopes for them. So we'll see how they respond to all this adversity.
Were you
Let's
just yelling at the TV, Matt? Just like at any time a coach was shown during that game?
I listen. It looked like they were getting ready to change cameras, I just closed my eyes. I didn't even look. I'd look at my phone or something. I don't need to. I don't need to see Shane Beamer. I don't need to see Eli Drinkwitz. I'm good without seeing either one of those guys.
I was gonna say just the rage generated by all that is just it's a lot.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, but I did what I could to kind of tamp it down. We're good.
Yeah. I'm impressed. So let's talk about Florida at Miami. Miami winning this one 26-7. Jesse getting the point here. So yes, I think this one went about how we thought it might, right? Still only 141 yards total for Florida. Still it's a bit surprising and concerning at the same time. Miami pretty much shut them down in all facets of the game. So, and really Florida didn't have much except for, I think it was a one explosive touchdown run by Ball there. So, Jesse, what are your thoughts on this one?
All you need to know, Florida was 0
yeah.
or 13.
Me and Jesse are on the same page because that's exactly the talking point I was going to make.
That tells the tale, doesn't it?
0. It's just Florida's offense is broken.
Mm-hmm.
It needs glue, duct tape, Botox, whatever. It is broken. And we're just seeing it over and over again. It's not a fluke. It's not one game where it's like, oh, they've got it. It is absolutely broken. And it doesn't seem like they're building anything to fix it. They managed 32 total yards in the first half. Not the first minute, the first half. Okay? I don't understand. I don't know what they're doing in practice. I don't know what they're not doing in practice. I need a pulse check on their offense. I truly do, because it's so unfair to their defense. Their defense is holding as strong as it possibly can. I mean, they held pretty well against Miami, and Miami and Carson Beck have done pretty well thus far. And they are doing the best that they can. And their offense is just not helping them out. And so at some point, that defense is also going to get real tired because they're on the field a lot. And these scores are going to start looking a lot worse, and honestly, a lot more like they probably should look. We'll talk about Coach Napier later, but things are rough in Gainesville.
They are. Matt, your thoughts on this one?
Listen, I know we don't like to spend a lot of time looking at social media on this podcast or discussing it, but I feel like, and I took it upon myself from a amateur journalist. I thought I will wade into the waters of Gator Twitter and see what I can find.
Doing the tough work.
You want to talk about some people that are upset. There is a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth going on in Gainesville and across the Southeast right now, because there is a lot of really upset folks. DJ Lagway, I know he's a sophomore. I'm fully aware of that fact. But man, you want to talk about regression? I just pulled up his stats for the season, and he's had 83 completions. He's averaging about 68% right now. 690 yards through those 4 games, which is only a 5.6 yard average each pass. That's pretty rough. The real stat that jumps out is 5 touchdowns on the season, 6 interceptions.
Five of those were in one game.
Last week.
Right, and we've talked about regression. We've talked about regression for quarterbacks, and I don't think Napier's been able to develop much anything offensively. Last season we were like, we don't know if Florida's going to win a game. Well, they put together a season last year. Now it's looking like where are they at this season? Like, it just does not look good. Top to bottom, left to right, up, down, A start, whatever. Like, Florida looks bad, top to bottom. Miami, again, has moved up to number 2 in the AP poll. I still think it's a little early to be crowning them the number 2 team in the AP poll. But they just can't. They're just, it's not good. It's not a good situation in Florida. I would like to say it hurts my feelings, but we all know it doesn't. But there's going to be some serious ramifications if this continues, and Florida's schedule doesn't get any easier, as we'll talk about here in a bit, because they got a big matchup this weekend, and then the weekend right after that, another big matchup. Like, they may not win another game. I think the next win they may get may be middle of November, and that's
Yikes.
That's right.
Well, that concludes the more competitive games that we were curious about from last weekend. Matt, I don't want to rob you of the opportunity to talk about Tennessee. Did you have any thoughts on that one before we move on?
I was happy with how the offense looked, but good God, I'm not going to complain too much because we did win by 30 some odd points, but our secondary is so rough right now. We keep giving up chunk plays, and again, it's because we're injured in those spots. We've got our 2 top CBs; they've been out since the beginning of the season. The defense worries me as of right now. I don't feel like 24 points is a lot to give up to UAB, but I mean, kudos to UAB for not rolling over and dying when Tennessee rolled out to, what was it, 28-0 or 24-0 or whatever it was. So I mean, it is what it is. We'll see where we end up next week.
Okay. All right. Well, that does it for the games that we'll talk about. There were others, but obviously they were not super competitive and went about how we expected.
Can we take a minute to talk about Vanderbilt though? 70
the
points?
70 points, yeah,
against Georgia State, a 70 burger.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that is something. I don't care who you
are. A team that's used to people just like rolling on them with some points, they would have like a little bit of grace.
No, not at all. All right. Well, we have a new Pick'em leader in the Pick'em standings. Jesse's got 19. I've got 16. Matt's got 13. So Jesse racked up this week. So congrats. And let's move right on into helmet stickers. Jesse, who are your helmet sticker recipients?
I'm gonna go. I'm not saying this because I think he's a Heisman candidate, because I literally don't care. But I'm gonna go with Mateer from OU. I think, this was a good hard fought game against Auburn. We talked a lot about their defenses for both teams, but as you guys mentioned, he had the most passing yards and obviously the most rushing yards as well, despite the fact that they were only 29. Still, I think this was a solid win for OU, and I think he is absolutely solidifying himself as the right choice for the Sooners. So he gets my first one. And then we didn't talk about this game, but I have to say it. I'm giving it to all of Mississippi State because number 1, I can. And number 2, because they are winning ball games. And I understand it's Northern Illinois, but we all know that Notre Dame got beat by them last year. So this is just really fun to talk about.
When's the last time Mississippi State was 4-0?
Are they going to go and play? Exactly.
I can't remember.
And they're going to go play Tennessee. We'll talk about it soon, but they're going to go and play Tennessee. So it'll be like a true test. However, I think this fan base needed this start and they deserved it for sticking with them. So I am giving it to all of the Bulldogs.
Matt?
Just to tack on to what Jesse said about John Mateer. John Mateer, according right now to Vegas, is the front runner for the Heisman at plus 700 right this second. Fernando
Gotcha.
Mendoza's in second, Dante Moore's in third. So
Gotcha.
there's that for you. As far as helmet stickers for me go, I'm giving mine to a pair of quarterbacks. I'm going to give Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. Mine 17 for 27 for 307 yards and 2 TDs in their victory. So a good day for him. Plus 112 yards on the ground on 14 carries. He had a pretty good afternoon. So Trinidad Chambliss gets one. And then also, and I hate to do this because Vanderbilt's a rival and I really don't care for them, but Diego Pavia, I think, deserves one too. 245 yards and a touchdown, and then 86 yards on the ground and a touchdown. It's a pretty good productive day from those two quarterbacks.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Yeah, my two helmet sticker recipients are going to be Ahmad Hardy from Mizzou, 138 yards on the ground and a touchdown on 22 carries against South Carolina. And then Oklahoma's defense. I mean, school record 10 sacks against Auburn.
It's a lot.
I think that's a wild stat and worthy of a sticker in my humble opinion. So, yeah, those are mine. Let's go ahead and move to we're going to talk about an interesting opinion segment.
Sir, if I may venture an opinion.
I'm not really interested in your opinion, 3PO.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All right, so obviously we're at this point in the season where coaches are getting more and more on the hot seat after some of these games are going not the way that people had planned. So of the ones who are currently on the hot seat of the SEC coaches, who is going to be the first to get fired? And we've sort of put a little list together here. We have Billy Napier, Sam Pittman, and then Mark Stoops. Obviously, these three teams have not done as people had hoped this year. If you want to throw in another name in there, go for it. But I'm curious, who do you think is going to be the first one on this hot seat that's going to actually get fired?
If I can interject real quick, I pulled up some stats just for context for everybody for the discussion. Sam Pittman right now is 32 and 33 in his 6 seasons at Arkansas. Okay. Billy Napier is 20 and 22 in his 4 seasons at Florida. Mark Stoops has been the head coach for 12 years at this point, 69 and 74. A couple names that I thought we also should probably throw on there's Hugh Freeze, 14 and 15 at Auburn in 3 years, and then Shane Beamer, 31 and 24 in 5 years. So just to give us a little bit of context, a little bit of information. Go ahead, Jesse. I'll let you go first.
Just talking really quick about South Carolina, it made me think about like Will Muschamp and everything. Did y'all see his post
When Vandy beat them? Because
Yeah.
his son is on the roster at Vandy, and so he took a picture at that
I
game.
missed
Yeah,
that. Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
I didn't bring it up last time, but I just thought of it and I was like,
when your son's team beats your former employer that tells you to go away, so
yeah, that like fired you.
Muschamp so extra.
He is. I mean, for me, I think it's Napier. And the reason I say that is because he was already in danger last season and like pulled off a last minute save, right? Like we all
Right.
thought it was over with. Last minute save, and then they start to put together a season and they're like, oh, okay, we'll see how this goes. The biggest thing for me is, and we've talked about it in several, the past several years, is when you have regression of a player, to me, that is on the coach, right? You should be feeding into them. You should be helping them excel. You should be calling Bill. You should be calling an offense that works or giving it to someone that can.
right.
Bill. And that's not happening in Florida. And it's not like, and I'm sorry, Kentucky, you guys can argue with me, but there are a little less expectations at Kentucky. Good enough is good enough. It has been. They've had flashes in the pan, but it's good enough.
Right.
Florida, good enough is never good enough. Okay? They want to be back in their prime. And I do not think Billy Napier gets them back in their prime. I think we're seeing talent regress. I think you will start to see at the end of this season, if they don't make some really quick changes, people start transferring and leaving. And it's going to become hard to recruit there. because
Right.
he's already had lawsuits against him. Let's just remember that there are lawsuits pending against him about NIL. So to me, it just doesn't seem like this is a good fit.
Yeah. Matt, do you agree?
I think I have to agree. I think the evidence is stacked up to where it's got to be Billy Napier first. Granted, an argument could be made for Sam Pittman, and we know that there's been some rumbling around Sam Pittman for a couple of years at this point. But I just Florida has that pedigree ever since the 1990s, ever since Spurrier, the fun and gun, all that stuff. And then you had Urban Meyer. Like I just don't think they're going to be patient enough to give him another year, especially with what they've got coming up on the rest of the season. Because I was just looking through the rest of their schedule. They still got number 10 Texas, number 9 Texas A&M, number 5 Georgia, number 13 Ole Miss, number 15 Tennessee, number 8 Florida State. If it's going to happen, I would be willing to bet money if Georgia comes out and waxes them and beats them by 20 plus, it'll be after Georgia. That would be my guess. I think they're going to be competitive. They may be able to hang a little bit with Texas and Texas A&M, but I think it's going to come in the next couple weeks. I think it's going to be Napier. I think Pittman probably gets through the end of the season. I think Stoops is an institution at this point. I don't think he goes anywhere. And I brought up Hugh Freeze and Shane Beamer just for fun. So yeah, I think it's Napier.
I think Hughes
It's got to be
the second in line. I think
You think
Freeze would be the second
he's
in
the
line
second?
because,
Really?
yes. And the reason I say that is because if we look back at Auburn and the amount of patience that they have, it's about 0.
Right.
I mean, look at Gus Malzahn.
Mm-hmm. He's the only coach who could beat Bama.
He was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they don't have patience. And they put so much hype around hiring Hugh Freeze and bringing him back, and they threw the purse. And we've all seen they're not afraid to pay a buyout. They will pay.
Heck, they're still paying for Chiswick, aren't they?
Probably.
I don't know. I think I would have to agree with that. I'm trying to look. I'm thinking about these other names, and I agree with you all about the high pressure situations. Yes, there's been rumblings at Arkansas, at Kentucky. I'm sure people are not happy in South Carolina right now. But let's be honest, the high pressure situations in this grouping of coaches that we've talked about is Florida and Auburn. Firstly, Florida in this situation. But the question is, it's always the question, who you going to get? Fine. If you want to fire Napier, that's cool. Who are you going to get?
There's some names out there now.
There are some names. And I will also say, who would give like their left arm to coach in the SEC right now is John Gruden. I don't know if you've watched him.
That's right.
And so can you imagine Gruden with the recruiting history that Florida has, putting those two together? That would be interesting. I don't know if it would be a good fit, his personality in Florida, but it would definitely be attractive for recruits. I'll give him that. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Napier's. Of course, keep in mind at this point in the season last year, we thought it was a foregone conclusion that he would be gone anyways, and he somehow stuck around. So. But to your point about the schedule, I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year. So
yeah, Florida, I have a proposition for you that I think would help with recruiting. I think it would be fascinating. Just for like an interim. Like if Billy Napier goes, can you just bring in Snoop Dogg as the interim coach? Because
no, what are you doing,
Jesse? It's not like a whole league, and like sure, it's not college, but he's got some kids that he used to coach that I think are in the NFL. And I'm just saying, if you want to turn the tides and have the fans be like, you know what, this is fun. I'm throwing it out there. I don't know that he's interested. He seems to have a lot going on. I'm throwing it out.
Yeah. I was just thinking of we would be pigskins and paraphernalia than drug paraphernalia. Anyway,
would you not want Martha Stewart in a box in the swamp?
No, we don't. We don't need that, Jesse. That's not necessary.
I need it.
That would be something. All right, well, let's turn our attention now to the upcoming games, and we are getting into that heart of the SEC schedule where we're playing each other now. And so we got some exciting ones to talk about. Let's get into those.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, right off the bat, right out of the gate, we have Notre Dame at Arkansas. Notre Dame's 1-2. Arkansas is 2-2. That's noon on ABC. Matt, what's your call for this one?
Have these two ever played before? Because
I was
that's
wondering that. I don't know.
Hold on a second, Jesse. You go ahead. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Two cultures colliding. How fun, right?
Truly.
I have to say, in this one, as much as I want to pick in the conference, I just don't know with the struggles that Arkansas has been having on both sides of the ball that they're going to be able to get it done. We see that Notre Dame is 1-2. We talked about their struggles last weekend. You know what? Actually, I'm talking myself into this now. You know what? Here we are. I just changed it because they both have struggled. And this is at home. So you know what? I'm going to pick the Razorbacks. I'm going to call an audible. I'm going to pick the Razorbacks 28-21.
All right. Matt, what do you think?
By the way, these teams have never met before. This will be their first meeting ever. So this will be something for the ages. I'm curious as to how Notre Dame's going to travel. If there's going to be a lot of Domers out there, that could be interesting. That being said, yeah, they do. They do love them, that team. I know that Notre Dame started out 0-2 on the season with some pretty rough losses. But they took care of, they got some offense back against Purdue this past weekend. So I'm going to pick against the conference. I'm going to say Notre Dame by 2 scores, 28-14.
Okay. Okay, yeah, sort of following suit in what you guys have already mentioned. Notre Dame has had their struggles this year, but Arkansas just simply cannot take care of the football. I think this being a home game, I think does help. I think they clean up the turnovers a little bit. I think Notre Dame is favored by about a touchdown, at least last I looked. But I'm trying to believe. Okay, I'm trying to believe for Sam and Arkansas. I'm going Arkansas here, 31-28. So next is Utah State 3-1 at Vanderbilt, 4-0. That's 12:45 on SEC Network. Matt, what you got here?
I was just looking at the line on this. Vanderbilt's favored by 3 scores, 22.5 right now. So I don't think Vanderbilt's going to beat them that badly. So I'm going to say Vanderbilt gets some points in because Pavia and company is pretty good. So I'm going to say 42-24 is the final in this one.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to find, at least when I was looking earlier, I was trying to find a line. I don't think they had put it out yet. And but I do expect Vandy to handle business at home here. I'm going Vandy 42-21. Jesse?
I'm also going to pick the Commodores in this one. I think it's a decent win for them. So I'm going Vandy 49-28.
All right. Next is LSU 4-0, 1-0 in the SEC at Ole Miss. That's 4-0, 2-0 in the SEC. That's 3:30 on ABC. Matt, what's your prediction for this one?
Yeah, I was going to pick LSU, but with Ole Miss being at home, I like Ole Miss a bit better. I think we get the upset this weekend. I like Ole Miss 28-24.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought process. I think Trinidad Chambliss announced his presence a few weeks ago. He's continuing to solidify that, and I think he does that more so in this one, which will be, I think, probably an exciting win at home against a very good LSU team. I'm going Ole Miss here, 28-27. Jesse?
Okay.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's so tough. This is going to be such a fun game to watch. I know we haven't done it much this season or maybe last season, but this is like my game of the week. I think this is 2 very evenly matched teams. I'm very excited to see how they play each other. And I mean, honestly, you could flip a coin for me on this one. I think it's tough. Because I'm just an agent of chaos and I like to be different. I'm going to pick the Tigers here, which hurts me. I don't want to pick against Lane, but I am going to do it. And I am going to pick the Tigers in overtime.
Ooh.
4-21.
All right.
I like that pick, Jesse. It's a good pick.
It's going to be exciting one probably either way. Next is Auburn, 3-1, 0-1 in the SEC at Texas A&M. They're 3-0. I don't believe they have a conference game under their belt yet. That's 3:30 on ESPN. Matt, what's your prediction here?
Listen, I think the Colts going to be too strong in this one. I like Texas A&M 21-14.
That's fair. Yeah, so Auburn, they go from one tough road environment to another. Obviously, Kyle Field is known for their tough environment. I think these teams are fairly evenly matched, but Kyle Field might tip things in the Aggies' favor. I'm going A&M here, 28-21. Jesse?
I am also going to pick the Aggies in this one. I think Kyle Field is just too tough of a place to play. And to me, even though they haven't been fully tested in the SEC, A&M is looking a little bit better, a little bit more consistent for me. So I'm going to pick Texas A&M 27-20.
All right, it's a good pick. Next is Tennessee, 3-1, 0-1 in the SEC at Mississippi State, 4-0. This is 4:15 on SEC Network. Matt, what's your prediction here?
Yeah, I can't pick against my Vols here, even on the road. I know Tennessee traditionally, the last couple of years, if they're going to have a loss, it's going to be on the road. However, Mississippi State hasn't played anybody. Southern Miss, Arizona State, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois. I don't think it's them. So I think Tennessee wins this thing comfortably, 35-20.
Yeah, I think this is where Mississippi State's fun run ends. Although 4-0 has to feel great at this stage of the season, regardless. So, but Tennessee's offense, I think, is just too powerful for State to hang with them. I'm going UT 42-20 here. Jesse?
I like chaos, but I'm not dumb enough to pick Mississippi State. I wish that they had a chance, but unfortunately, I think 4-0 might be becoming 4-1 at this point. So I'm also going to pick the Vols 38-21.
All right, next is UMass, 0-3 at Missouri, 4-0. Matt, what's your prediction for this one?
If your mascot's the Minutemen, I don't think you're going to be able to hang. So I think Mizzou wins this thing. I think Mizzou wins this thing. But, I think this is going to be one of those patented Drinkowitz kind of come out slow kind of things.
Okay.
And because, they have a game every season where they should be winning by 3 or 4 touchdowns, and then they only win by about 6 or 7 points. I think this is going to be one of those games. I like Mizzou here, 28-20.
Okay, that's fair. This is the second of a home and home between these two teams. UMass lost at home to Mizzou last year, like 45-3 or something like that. I expect something similar here. I'm going Mizzou 49-7 here. Jesse, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't think that UMass has much of a chance, but I don't disagree with Matt that there could be a trap quarter in there, right? Where they let the Minutemen get up on them just a little bit, probably in the first quarter. So I'm going to pick the Tigers 31-17.
All right. All right, and here we have Alabama 2-1 at Georgia, 3-0, 1-0 in the SEC. This is 7:30 on ABC. Matt, what's your prediction here?
I wish this game was going to be closer, and I just don't think it's going to be. Bama lost, got taken care of pretty handedly by Florida State in week 1. They've played Wisconsin, Louisiana, Monroe since. I don't think this is the Bama of yesteryear. I'm afraid this is this is not a good Bama team. I think Bama's going to lose this thing pretty handedly. So I like UGA 33-17.
Okay. Here's why I think that it might be a little bit closer. And I sort of foresee shades of Georgia, Tennessee in this one with lots of scoring. Unless Georgia magically figured out a way to make their DBs better, I expect them to get torched early and often by Ryan Williams and company. Georgia has shown, though, that they're resilient, and I don't see Gunnar Stockton getting flustered after getting down early, perhaps. So even if something like that happens and we get into another one of these shootout type situations, I don't really see people caving to that. I do think Georgia kind of climbs back into this one maybe after being down early and wins a close one, thanks in part to the home crowd. So I'm going Georgia here 27-24. Jesse, what do you got?
Again, this is another one I could have gone either way, but because I'm a homer, I'm going to pick Bama. And I say that because I also think that there is going to be many a shade of the Georgia-Tennessee game in this one. I believe that tape is probably being replayed on repeat for the guys this week. And I think Bama might be devising a way to keep Georgia down rather than letting them come back just a little bit. I think Brian Williams and Ty Simpson have a consistent day on Saturday. I think that they do pretty well and they connect quite a bit. I hope that Alabama will also get their run game going so that we have a more balanced offense. And I hope that our defense takes care of Gunnar Stockton, but we'll see. So I am going to pick the Tide in this one. I think it's going to be close. I think I might throw up. So Tide 24-21.
All right, yeah, and it's prime time, so it should be exciting. So, and then finally we have Kentucky 2-1, 0-1 in the SEC at South Carolina 2-2, 0-2 in the SEC.
Why is that such a late kick?
7:45 on SEC
7:45
Network.
on the East Coast. Come on, man.
We used to have the dumpster fire game of the week. I think this one might qualify. It's anticlimactic, right? Like you said, it's like this primetime slot. I mean, I know it's on SEC Network, not ABC, but still. It's like, wow, maybe we should have rethought this. But Matt, what are your thoughts and your predictions for this one?
Night games at Willie B is a scary thing, and Kentucky has not done a lot to make me confident in their performance. So I like Carolina here. I think this is a low scoring one, though. I like Carolina 17-14 in this one.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think this one it's a tough one because both of these teams have been such a disappointment this year. But I think South Carolina has the upper hand, thanks in part to Lenora Sellers. I think he knocked some of that rust off last week. I mean, he had over 300 yards passing in last week. So I'm going to go South Carolina here, 24-21. Jesse, can you hear me?
I think even though I said they don't need to do this, I think even though they don't need to do this, I think that Carolina is able to rely on those explosive plays in this one because Kentucky is not a consistent team themselves. And I also agree this is going to be a low scoring game. I'm going to pick the Gamecocks 21-17.
All right. Well, that concludes the upcoming matchups. So if you guys would like to contact us and yell at us, whatever you'd like to do, email us at pigskinsandpageantry@gmail.com. We are at Pigskins and Pageantry on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We are at PPSEC Podcast on X. And don't forget, we're available for download on pretty much any...
Oh, wait, that's Twitter!
You missed it, almost. We're available for download on pretty much all the streaming platforms out there. So please, if you enjoyed the show, subscribe and review. We'd love those 5 stars to boost our visibility and have a chance to talk with more wonderful people like yourselves. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting weekend. Lots of big matchups coming up. Until next time, this is Wes. Go Dogs.
We are back. Florida, if you guys need someone to talk to, we're here. We're here. And this is a safe space, okay? I promise you this is a safe space. Roll Tide.
Listen, the Vols have already lost to one Bulldog team this year. We're not doing that again. All right, fellas. So let's pack it in. Let's lock in, chat, as the kids like to say. Go Vols.